I knew the universe had a messed up sense of humor the moment Chloe, our fresh face in logistics, printed a flowchart in Comic Sans and got praised for bold, creative leadership. That was the same week I saved a $1.2 million shipment from being rerouted to Panama due to a customs code typo. And what did I get? A one-line shout-out buried in a company-wide email. No subject line, no punctuation. Just thanks, Elaine. Best Jeremy, no period, no respect. I didn't yell. I didn't break down. I calmly picked up my ergonomic keyboard, the one I paid for out of pocket, and lobbed it across the beige-tiled floor like I was tossing 20 years of patience into the void. Then I sighed, adjusted my wrist brace. Years of typing through broken systems will do that, and opened another invoice. 21 years. No scandals, no missed deadlines, no panic attacks in the conference room. At least, not the kind anyone could see. I'm the kind of woman who knows when a supplier's cousin is getting married in Mobile, Alabama, and which port manager needs a donut on rainy mornings. I remember birthdays. I track tropical storms. And yes, I bring homemade pumpkin streusel muffins to Monday stand-ups because people matter, even if leadership forgot I exist. Chloe doesn't eat gluten, wears linen jumpsuits like she's in an Instagram ad. Swans into meetings I used to run, tossing out phrases like synchronized freight karma and streamlined synergy touchpoints. I call it PowerPoint glitter. Jeremy calls it future-facing logistics. I call it nonsense. And look, if you've made it this far, tap that subscribe button. Seriously, 97% of folks just listen and bounce. But you're different. Help fuel these stories with coffee and righteous indignation. Anyway, I wasn't blind. I've seen this happen. New exec wants to shake things up, so they throw institutional memory overboard and hand the keys to someone who thinks Excel is retro chic. What hurt wasn't Chloe. It was the way Jeremy looked at me, now like I was some fax machine humming in the corner, useful, but mostly just in the way. Still, I showed up. Vendor relations don't run themselves no matter how many Slack channels Chloe opens. I kept things moving. I calmed a furious trucker outside Nashville who almost walked off the job after Chloe's NetSuite experiment wiped out half our open purchase orders. I rebuilt the ledger. Quietly, precisely. I took the desk next to the copier. Let Chloe have the air fryer, the window, and her lentil wraps. I waited. Then Saturday afternoon my phone rang. Not Chloe's. Mine. The regional manager from our biggest shipping partner called, not to check in with the new leadership, but to double confirm a high-value routing update. I didn't flinch, didn't brag. I just smiled and said, "No problem, I'll handle it." I nodded and said the 6 most dangerous words in the corporate world. "No problem, I'll handle it." It was 3:17 p.m. on a Friday, the corporate witching hour, when bad news simmers in stale air and tepid LaCroix. Jeremy called it a quick sync, but there was nothing quick or synced about what followed. The man wore his best, "This hurts me more than it hurts you." Face, brow, furrowed eyes like old milk fingers steepled like he was praying to the gods of spin. I walked into the conference room at Oak Ridge Logistics HQ in Greenville, South Carolina, notepad in one hand and a migraine pounding behind my right eye. I knew something was off. The room stank of canned anxiety and Chloe's perfume, something floral and overconfident. She was already in the seat I'd occupied for over a decade, iPad glowing with a Canva graphic titled "New Era, Same Vision." Jeremy cleared his throat like he was about to read a eulogy. Effective immediately, Chloe will step into the Director of Vendor Strategy role. Silence. Thick. Awkward. My brain stalled. That was my title. My vendors. My spreadsheet marathon nights and phone calls with truckers at 2 a.m. while she was probably posting hustle quotes on Instagram between oat milk lattes. She outperformed you, Jeremy added flatly. Just like that. Like loyalty was something I forgot to log. 14 years of flawless vendor retention crisis management birthday muffins, and not one lawsuit, and all of it meant less than Chloe's ability to drop a pie chart onto a slide deck and call it a vision. I blinked once. Understood, I said. Calm as a pond with a cinder block sinking in it. Jeremy launched into HR-safe drivel about transition support and knowledge continuity. I'd still have access to systems, he said, as if that was a gift. We'll lean on your experience. Translation? Keep quiet, train the rookie, and don't let her burn the company down before the end of Q4. I nodded, smiled. The kind of smile you only learn after 2 decades in corporate America. Equal parts rage, grace, and well-rehearsed restraint. I shook Chloe's hand. It was clammy with glee. Back at my desk, I packed exactly 3 things. My mug that said, Crawl, Poo, Alt, Plus, Survive. A framed photo of my rescue, Mutt Cooper. The stapler I stole from accounting in 2012. No tears, no drama. I opened Outlook, clicked new email, typed 5 words in the body. Take notes. They will fall. Saturday morning hit me like a steel-toed boot to the self-worth. I sat at my kitchen table in flannel pajama pants that read, Still employed. Technically, robe draped over me like defeat. My only source of heat. 3 fingers of gas station bourbon disguised as Irish breakfast tea. I opened my dusty old Lenovo and stared at a blinking Word doc titled Harper Elaine, Resume, Final, this time. Doc's objective. Seasoned logistics lead seeking role where integrity isn't optional and buzzwords die fast. Delete. Try again. What was the point? Every time I tried rewriting my resume, it read like an obituary. Here lies Elaine Harper, keeper of vendors. Slayer of missed shipments. Forgotten by HR, replaced by a Canva enthusiast who thinks synergy is a strategy and logistics is a vibe. I sat there hunched in my kitchen chair like I was waiting for the coroner to show up and pronounce my career dead. By noon, I had applied to exactly 0 jobs, eaten half a sleeve of saltines like they were gourmet tapas, and watched Chloe post a LinkedIn selfie from my old office, same desk, same ficus, different nameplate. Her caption, excited to usher in a new vendor era, so honored to lead with innovation and heart. This is the same woman who once called a warehouse fire drill an inconvenience because it interrupted her calendar block strategy visualization hour. I slammed my laptop shut so hard the poor thing wheezed like it had asthma. Then my work cell rang. Not my personal phone, the work cell that Jeremy said I could keep during the transition period, whatever that meant. The screen said Reggie B., Titan Freight. I sat up a little straighter. Reggie was the lead account manager at Titan, our biggest freight supplier, the kind of family-run Midwest firm that still sent holiday cards and actually answered phones. If Titan pulled out our logistics, backbone would snap in half. Elaine, Reggie said, voice tight, sorry to call you direct. Chloe forwarded your contact, but she didn't really understand what we were flagging. There's a $1 300 discrepancy on the last bulk order. It's throwing off the customs dock. The port authority's already twitchy. I didn't hesitate. Pulled up my old files. Opened the invoice. Cross-checked routing numbers. Spotted it instantly. Chloe had keyed in the wrong currency code. Rookie mistake. And one that could have cost us the shipment. Tell the port to hold for 4 hours, I said. I'll send over a corrected bill of lading and copy finance. Whatever you do, don't reroute. I'll fix it. And I did. Quietly. Cleanly. Like threading a needle in the back of a moving truck. 3 hours later, Reggie emailed, subject, thank you, body Elaine. We seriously appreciate you. You're the only reason we haven't pulled out of this contract. I stared at the message. Read it once. Then again. And finally, I smiled. Not the brittle I'm fine smile I'd been wearing for a week. A real one. The kind that cracked like old concrete after a long winter. If you felt that if something in this story hit a little too close to your inbox, go ahead and tap that subscribe button. The next part is coming, and trust me, you're going to want to see what happens when the board finally hears everything. I took a sip from my chipped ceramic mug, the one still labeled Number 41 Transition Advisor, and whispered to Cooper curled under my kitchen table. Looks like I'm not quite done yet. That night, I dragged myself into Dalton's Steakhouse, a downtown Greenville classic that smelled like ambition and burnt butter. I wore stiff jeans and a blouse that hadn't seen daylight since performance reviews meant something. Carla was already at our booth, swirling a vodka soda like a woman with fire-red nails and a 5-year exit plan. She slid the breadbasket toward me. Jesus, she said you look like someone demoted your soul. They did, I muttered, grabbing a roll like it owed me money. Audra gave my job to a LinkedIn mannequin with Wi-Fi. Carla blinked hard. Wait, Chloe, he actually said she outperformed you? I nodded and buttered my roll like it owed me back pay. Yup. That's the word Jeremy used, like we're all contestants on The Price is Right, and I didn't spin the wheel hard enough. Carla let out a low, unimpressed whistle. That's rich. Elaine, Chloe's been sending us PDFs with Canada Post tracking numbers. We don't ship through Canada. I froze mid-chew. You're joking. Dead serious, she said. The warehouse manager thought it was a phishing scam. I had to tell him, nope, she's just like that. I pushed my plate aside, suddenly queasy. Carla leaned in, voice low. Titan Freight's this close to pulling the plug. The family's pissed. They feel like they're being handled by a startup intern with a god complex. I blinked. They said that they didn't have to. But your name keeps coming up. When Elaine handled this, Elaine would have never let this happen. I'm telling you, they're watching, waiting. Some part of me had known. You don't spend 21 years managing the chaos behind the curtain without feeling the shift in the room. But hearing it out loud from Carla, someone inside turned that dull ache in my chest into something sharper, cleaner. It had never been about the title. The real power wasn't in the director of vendor strategy line under my name. It was in the trust I'd built one birthday, remembered one crisis, solved one calm voice on the other end of the line at 3:12 a.m. When a truck flipped outside Fort Wayne. Jeremy could strip my title, but he couldn't strip the loyalty I'd built brick by brick. I finished my drink, cracked my knuckles, and grinned into the candlelight. Well, then I said, let's see how Miss Canada Post handles things, without my transition advice. Monday morning, I walked into Oak Ridge Logistics like a ghost with a grudge and a plan. My heels clicked louder than usual. My cardigan was pressed, my face flat, an unreadable shark calm with a flicker of caffeine-fueled prophecy. I didn't storm in. Storming makes people feel important. Jeremy didn't deserve that. I glided, sat at my smaller desk by the copier, like I'd always belonged there, quietly radiating competence like black mold in corporate drywall. You might not notice me right away, but eventually I'd be the reason the ceiling caves in. Chloe was already in the war room, sorry evasion suite flailing through a Zoom call with Titan Freight. I could hear her from 20 feet away. Uh-huh. Yeah, totally. Let's circle back on that customs dock. If you can ping me the batch or slack me. What's your slack again? I didn't laugh. I just hummed. A soft, satisfied sound, like a server booting up, or a storm starting far off on the horizon, because I knew what was coming next. And oh, it was going to be beautiful. Uh-huh. Yeah, totally. We'll circle back on that customs dock, Chloe said into her headset, voice sugary and directionless. Just like loop me in on the cargo batch or ping me. I'll slack you. Wait, what's your slack again? I didn't laugh. I hummed. A soft, steady hum, like an old fridge about to give up. Fitting. I turned to my screen, opened Outlook, and flagged 3 critical billing errors Chloe had just forwarded to the wrong branch of finance again. Wrong vendor codes, mismatched POs, all dated last Thursday. I filed each one calmly. No bold fonts, no drama, just facts. Subject lines read, Invoice 1187 routing fix. Chloe forwarded wrong version again. Urgent customs discrepancy flagged ICC Jeremy. No commentary needed. These were quiet truth bombs, not grenades, more like paper cuts from reality. At 10:17 a.m., the phone rang. It was Reggie from Titan Freight. I could hear the frustration bottled tight in his voice. Elaine, he said, sorry to bother you again. We're trying to confirm the Houston freight merge. Chloe said she looped in procurement, but, there is no procurement now. It's just us. I let out a breath so soft it might have passed for a breeze. I'm not in charge anymore, Reggie, I said, calm enough to diffuse a panic attack. But I'll make sure Chloe gets this. I know it's important. Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah. I forwarded the call. Summary, no edits, no judgments. Just, for your action, Chloe. Let me know if support is needed. That afternoon, Titan missed the manifest approval deadline. Chloe panicked and sent a 3-paragraph Slack to the team, blaming unexpected technical gaps. I reacted with the deadliest tool in corporate survival. Then I alphabetized my inbox. Peacefully, precisely. That week, I rewired my smile. Not fake, not pleasant, just sharp. The kind that made people wonder if their fly was down or if I had just audited their soul. I offered Chloe coffee in meetings, sent helpful nudges before deadlines, helped draft a vendor handoff doc in Google Drive with no fewer than 48 bullet points, each one passive-aggressive perfection. Every dash was a breadcrumb leading to competence. I waited, patiently, while Chloe mismanaged timelines, while Jeremy ignored red flags like he had a pollen allergy to accountability, while Titan's tone got icier by the hour. I didn't sabotage a thing. I just let nature do its job. And nature, it turns out, has no patience for Comic Sans logistics. By Thursday, the building reeked of microwaved salmon and performance anxiety. Slack channels became graveyards of unanswered messages. The shipment dashboard looked like it had been bleeding for days. The interns started a pool. How many emergency fire drill meetings today? The answer was 3. 0 flames. All panic. Chloe! She spent the day flinging blame like a chimp with a smoothie. Her new scapegoats. The same vendor ops team she never took time to understand. And Lucy, my former assistant, took the brunt. Quietly. Of course. Because when collapse comes, it doesn't knock. It leaks. One day, Lucy was tracking freight carrier mileage like a human calculator. The next, she was being accused of not leveraging synergy on a manifest delay. I found her in the 4th-floor bathroom crying quietly over a cold peppermint mocha and a broken shoelace. She told the floor I was, Lucy hiccuped, logistically fragile. She looked up, mascara smudged. What does that even mean? I handed her a tissue from my purse, one of the real ones, not the industrial brown ones that feel like sandpaper. It means she's drowning and flailing, I said gently. And you just happen to be within reach? Lucy nodded, wiped her eyes. I miss working with you, she said softly. Back then, everything made sense. I didn't say me too. I just squeezed her shoulder and handed her a fresh shoelace from my bag. I always kept extras. Habits of a woman who survived 5 budget cuts and a surprise demotion. Back at my desk, I opened the Chloe Learning Curve folder. Password protected, color-coded, crafted with the wrath of a woman fluent in Excel and petty documentation. Entry, number 43, Sept 21, 2, 18 p.m. Chloe CC'd the wrong vendor on a freight route, exposed pricing tiers across 3 accounts. Blamed the finance intern, no acknowledgement, no correction. At 3:42 p.m., Jeremy slinked by Ty, crooked mouth tight with panic, the kind usually reserved for fire marshals and board members. Elaine, quick favor, he whispered. Could you talk to the supplier? They're not responding to Chloe. I think your name still holds some weight. I swiveled in my chair slowly like a soap opera villain who already knew how this ended. Of course, I said, syrup sweet. Happy to help. For now. Jeremy exhaled like I'd thrown him a lifeline. He didn't know I was holding the other end. I called Titan Freight. Reggie answered on the second ring. Oh, thank God, Elaine. We were about to escalate. I'm still assisting during the transition, I said, calm and crisp. What's going on? Customs delay in Cincinnati. Someone uploaded the wrong shipping codes again. 3 guesses, who? I fixed it mid-call. Clean, surgical. Emailed the updated routing matrix. Included a little thank you gift, a branded invoice footer that read, "You're the real MVP." It was passive-aggressive. It was glorious. I didn't tell Chloe. I didn't need to. The supplier already knew who was really running things. And it sure wasn't the one hosting icebreaker games in vendor Slack. Friday morning hit hard. I made coffee strong enough to sand drywall, took a slow sip, and opened my inbox. Dumpster fire. Shipment delays in Tulsa. A dock supervisor in Atlanta threatening to walk mid-shift because Chloe had restructured the delivery calendar without telling anyone who actually drives the trucks. Titan hadn't responded to Chloe's last 4 emails. And Jeremy, he was off-site at a leadership brunch. Translation, hiding behind a Belgian waffle while the roof burned down. Jeremy was off-site at a golf fundraiser for a children's charity. Or as I like to call it, networking over lies and light beer. Back at my desk, I opened a blank email. No greeting, no signature, just a clean subject line. Transition status memo, oversight summary. Then came the bullet point surgical short. And impossible to sugarcoat. Sept 15. Incorrect invoice sent to Titan Freight. Delayed customs, manifest by 18 hours. Sept 18. Unauthorized scheduling update on shared dock. Created 3-route overlap in Texas. Sept 20. Publicly blamed junior staff for freight reallocation error traceable to Chloe's login. Sept 21. Forwarded sensitive pricing matrix to third-party vendor. No apology issued. Sept 22. Multiple unanswered emails to Titan lead resulted in manual rerouting by supplier. No emotion. No interpretation. Just facts stacked tight like bricks. A quiet wall of receipts no one could climb over. I CC'd Jeremy. BCC'd myself. Then I clicked send. I picked up the phone next. Reggie from Titan answered on the first ring. Elaine, please tell me you're still with the company. I am, I replied calmly. For now. He exhaled, frustrated. Chloe sent us a doc yesterday with tracking info from 2021. It still had your name on it. You must have filed it years ago. At this point, we don't know who's driving the train. I didn't show my teeth. Just the kind of smile you hear in someone's tone. I understand, I said. But Monday's your decision day. If this partnership is going to survive, you'll need to make a call. I'll be here through the end of transition. After that, I can't promise anything. He paused, then quietly, got it. And Elaine, we trust you. Just you. I hung up. At 1:06 p.m., I walked straight to HR, handed the receptionist a printed calendar invite. Subject, strategic role realignment. Vendor liaison discussion. Attendees, Elaine Harper. HR Director, Thomas Greg Board. Liaison, Judy Brinker. Priority urgent. She blinked. Is this about, I think the board deserves a little context, I said. Then I turned and walked away. By the time Chloe rolled in late from a vendor culture brunch, I was already back at my desk. Calmly highlighting a logistics flowchart, not because I needed to, but because I knew Chloe couldn't read one without nearly crying. Monday was coming, and I had already set the stage. When it hit, it didn't tap the door politely. It crashed through. Printer alarms howled. Slack messages popped like popcorn in a microwave. The air felt electric with panic. Jeremy's voice crackled from down the hallway, like someone trying to stop a flood with a paper cup. And I sipped my coffee, still hot, still in control. Jeremy's voice crackled out of his office, like a man trying to stop a house fire with a squirt gun. The shipment is missing. 7 containers. Gone. Freight meant for 3 of our top clients had vanished into thin digital air. No tracking updates. No supplier response. Nothing. Chloe was pacing in her kitten heels, mascara streaking down one cheek like a warning label. Refresh the portal, she barked at a stunned intern. Again, hard refresh. Try Reggie. From your phone this time. Maybe they blocked mine by accident. I sipped my coffee. Still hot. Still calm. I watched the chaos unfold like a retired firefighter, watching teenagers try to figure out how to use a fire hose. Everyone was shouting, scattering toggling windows and spreadsheets and pretending they weren't one Slack ping away from a meltdown. At 9:48 a.m., reception buzzed. There's a call for vendor operations. I asked who it was, and they just said, urgent. They asked for leadership. Chloe lunged for the desk phone like it was a lifeline. This is Chloe from Click Logistics Silence. Her face contorted, then twisted into a mask of slow-building horror. She turned to the bullpen. Did they just... My desk phone rang. Once, twice. I let it ring a third time just to let the silence wrap around the office like a cold front. Then I answered. This is Elaine. The voice on the other end was low, firm, and broadcast so confidently that every head on the floor tilted an inch toward me. Put me on speaker, it said. I tapped the button. A soft beep followed. Then, we will only work with Elaine Harper. Otherwise, we walk. You could have heard a paperclip hit the floor. Chloe stood frozen arms, slightly lifted like a paused YouTube thumbnail. Jeremy stepped into the doorway like divine humiliation had summoned him personally. The voice continued, We've rerouted the missing freight to hold until we hear back from Elaine. This partnership runs through her. Not the intern, not the misfires, not the marketing fluff. I didn't blink, didn't smirk. I leaned forward calm as glass. I understand, I said. I'll handle it. I didn't look at Chloe. I didn't have to. She was already unraveling jaw-tight red blotches blooming up her neck like a rash of regret. Jeremy opened his mouth to speak, then closed it. Smart move. I clicked the call off speaker, hung up the receiver with the quiet finality of a sealed tomb, and stood. Smooth my blazer. I have a 10 o'clock with the board, I said, voice even. Then I walked out. Jeremy looked like someone had just stapled a subpoena to his forehead. Chloe stood pale and clammy, blinking hard like a broken hologram. She whispered to no one in particular. I thought we had a system in place. I sat there, calm as a glacier with a grudge, and pressed the call log on my desk phone. Just one button. The speaker light blinked red. Reggie's voice filled the room again, crisp as fresh asphalt on a July morning. Let me be clear. Titan Freight will not continue business with your company unless Elaine Harper is our sole point of contact. We've already informed our legal team and flagged your last routing cycle as breach adjacent. He paused, just long enough. Elaine, when you're available, we'd like to renegotiate under your direct supervision. I let the words settle into the silence. 1 second, 2. Then I tapped the speaker off. No drama, no victory lap, just gravity. I stood slowly, not because I wanted attention, but because moments like this aren't rushed. They deserve weight. I looked at Jeremy first. The board is aware, I said, smoothing the hem of my blazer. They'll be contacting you shortly. Then I turned to Chloe, who looked less like a leader and more like a raccoon that just realized the trash can lid was bolted shut. Oh, I added almost like an afterthought, you might want to brush up on how customs brokers actually work. And maybe stop quoting articles from BuzzFeed Supply Chain Weekly. Her mouth opened, then closed again. Nothing came out. And with that, I walked. Not stomped, not marched. Just walked past the cubicles, past Jeremy's glass-walled office, past a ring of wide-eyed employees who had just witnessed a live-action corporate exorcism. Outside the boardroom, I paused, adjusted my collar, straightened my spine, inhaled. Inside that room were two people who just months ago called me reliable but not strategic. Today, they'd be calling me irreplaceable. I reached for the handle, and just before I pushed the door open, I said it softly to myself, but loud enough for every paper pusher within 5 cubicles to hear. Turns out I did outperform her, just not in ways your little spreadsheet could measure. There's something poetic about being underestimated by people who think legacy can be replaced with templates. Let them. Let them chase dashboard metrics and viral Slack emojis, because I've learned something real leadership doesn't shout. It shows up early. It solves the unsolvable. It remembers birthdays and who's allergic to hazelnuts. It's quiet. It's earned. And the sweetest revenge, letting the results speak so loudly. Your enemies can't hide from them. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you. No, really. Thank you for sticking with me through every eye roll, every coffee-fueled crisis, every quiet win I had to keep to myself because someone else was getting credit in bold font. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Tell me if you've ever been written off, sidelined, or swapped out for someone shinier with better optics. Tell me if you've ever had to sit there silently cleaning up the mess while someone else got applause for the mess you fixed. I want to know I'm not alone out here because I'm betting you've been there too. And if this story reminded you of something you've survived, here's my advice. Don't dim your value just because someone else can't measure it. Your experience. It counts even when they pretend it doesn't. Your calm. That's power. Your consistency, that's legacy. Your quiet competence. That's leadership, real leadership. They may not see it now, but one day they will. And when they do, they'll look for you the way they always do when everything falls apart. So subscribe if you want more stories like this. Share it if you know someone who needs to hear it. And most importantly, don't forget who you are just because someone else did. I'm Elaine Harper. I didn't raise my voice. I just raised the standard. Now it's your turn. Let's make the forgotten ones unforgettable.